and welcome to Meet the Candidates 2007. I'm Charlie Langton. Today, we'll hear from candidates hoping to be on the Warren City Council. All candidates were invited to appear, and all candidates were asked the same questions to allow you, the voters, to compare. Now, let's hear from the candidates for City Council. Robert Bacamino is here, and he wants to be on council. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about why you want to be on council?
Well, sir, I've been serving my community all my life. I'm a veteran. I've served my country. I've served as a teacher for 16 years, serving parents, families, children. I'm a vacation Bible school instructor. I'm service-oriented, and I believe that now is the correct time for me to move to the Warren City Council and serve the citizens of this great city.
All right, let's talk about some of the issues. What do you think the best way would be to combat blight in the city?
Well, as you know, we are at war with blight, and there's no one magic bullet, I think, that's going to lead us to victory. It's going to take a community effort. I believe we need to have more inspectors going out there issuing more citations, letting the community know that we're not going to tolerate this. Bring that to a judicial system where judges can then hold those violators accountable, make sure that they do not become repeat offenders, get that message out there. I also believe in churches and community volunteer organizations to go out there and help citizens that might be in trouble, whether due to an illness or an injury, who temporarily cannot maintain their properties. Surrounding this issue of blight in that way, I think, is how you have to attack it, and then we can make a dent in it and eventually win this war.
All right. What's your vision for the future of the downtown?
The downtown area is an area I think that's very important. We need to use it to bring businesses to our city, create jobs. Families will see that as a focus point. Move here, buy homes here, raise their families here, send them to our schools. The downtown area is going to be great for the city if the future generations can see that as a focal point. We need to do that and make it a priority.
We've got about a minute left. I'll give it to you. Summarize your candidacy and tell the voters why you should be on council.
Well, I believe I'm the right man at this time for council. I've been endorsed by UAW Region 1 and the Warren Senior Connection. I feel that my service as a veteran, my service as a teacher, my service at church brings that to the community. I'm a mediator. I can see both sides of the issue and bring people to that middle ground. I think the city of Warren needs to come together at this critical time in history to make sure that we lead Warren to the future for jobs, for families, and to make it a great city that it is. We're #1 in Macomb County, and we need to portray that image out there. And again, I'm asking for each individual out there to endorse me on August 7th by voting for Robert Bacamino, City Council.
Robert Bacamino, candidate for City Council. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Nathaniel Bonkowski is here, and he wants to be on council. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Charlie. How you doing today?
Good. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and why you want to be on council?
Well, I want to be on council because I think it's time for the youth to become involved in the city and take a little more action. I'm 24 years old. I'm a student at Wayne State. Lived in Warren my whole life.
All right. Let's talk about some issues then.
Okay.
What's the best way to combat blight in the city?
Well, everybody can see it's an ongoing problem, and we need to bring back pride in our community. Everybody needs to take a stand up, and take it upon themselves, some accountability.
All right. What's your vision for the future of the downtown?
Well, the future of downtown, we'd like to bring back a lot of business, get the young people involved. I'm hoping this election to bring out the largest number of votes for 18 to 25-year-olds.
All right. We've got plenty of time left. Why don't you tell a little bit more about your background and what makes you the best qualified candidate to be on council, and some of the issues that you would like to raise?
Well, like I said, bringing back the sense of community. Warren's built on hardworking individuals and family values, just working together, and I think if we work together as a city, we can take advantage of that.
All right. Anything else?
I think that'll do it.
That'll do it. Sure will. Nathaniel Bonkowski, candidate for council. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Good. Phil Carmarda is here, and he wants to be on council. Thank you for being here.
Hey Chuck, how you been?
Good.
About 4 years. Good. Hey, you still got a great tie on, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. Why don't you tell us a little bit what you've done in 4 years and why you should be on council?
Well, as you know, I ran for mayor 4 years ago, and I got appointed to the Planning Commission. So 4 years on the Planning Commission gave me a heck of an insight into the city. It allowed me to see how things tick, meet a lot of individuals, and of course understand the development that needs to take place. And I think council is the next step. It'll afford me the opportunity to really direct the direction the city needs to go.
All right, talk about some of the issues. What's the best way, do you think, to combat blight in the city?
Oh, that's an interesting question. There are many ways to do this. Obviously, there's a blight court we're working on, and then there's, let me back up. I think the way to phrase this is, we already have ordinances in place to combat blight. It's a matter of enforcement. We need an administration that will use the existing ordinance to enforce, or rather to issue tickets and correct situations that are out there.
All right. Another issue, what's your vision for the future of the downtown?
Downtown's come along great. As a matter of fact, I voted for the downtown structure. I voted for the parking lot. I voted for the fountain. Everything down there, I had a chance since I was on the Planning Commission to go ahead and put my vote in for it. And I was very happy to see the way it went. It's come up beautifully. If you notice, we have a farmer's market now. We had a garage sale that was incredible. I don't know how many thousands of people piled through it. But my vision for the downtown is pretty much the direction it's going, to bring some youth into the city, to make sure that the seniors have a place to go, to bring the farmer's market way up to where it'll be someplace where other cities want to come visit. And of course, you want our schools to get packed again with young kids, and the only way to do that is to have a younger city and bring the downtown up. You have to start with this nucleus and work your way out.
We've got about a minute left. I'll give it to you. Tell the voters why you should be on council.
As I stated, at Planning Commission, I ran for mayor, and of course, running for mayor, I realized that when I came in third, that the general public probably thought I needed a little bit more experience. So I figured 4 years into the planning, I'll do 4 years on council, God willing to let me, and then I'll see if I can't grab the reins of the city and run it as mayor. My goal is ultimately to take the city into the future, and if that's through the council or through being the next mayor, that's what I want to do.
All right, Phil Carmarda, candidate for council. All the best. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much, Chuck.
Donna Kaiser-Comartin is with us. She wants to be re-elected to council. Thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
Why don't you tell us why you should be re-elected?
Well, for one thing, having the learning experience being on council, I brought 11 plus years of the Planning Commission background with me. I've held a lot of dignity in my position, staying out of the battlefield, so to speak. Thinking about what the citizens are looking for in a person, I think I have the qualifications for that, the experience, the background. I'm a realtor. With being a realtor, I know what affects property values, so I think that's important. Looking at cooperation between the council people, I get along with a lot of people. I think that's important that we work together and make stride to make business move forward in the accomplishments of our community.
Let's talk about some of the issues. One of the big issues, blight. What's the best way to combat blight in the city?
Well, I think that we really need a comprehensive plan with blight. I think the judges, we have the ordinances on the books right now. We have our judges in place. We need to work with our current judges, our inspectors, and our administration, along with council. Work collectively, find out where the pitfalls are, find out where some of the problem areas are. Deal with those problem areas, perfect them where we can to make the progress, move much more rapidly. It seems like it's taking a while to get there because of the increased foreclosure homes. We have a high number of foreclosures throughout our community, vacant homes, and making those type of contacts. So it would be important to group it together and get a good comprehensive plan.
What's your vision for the future of the downtown?
The future of the downtown. I think with the economy and the way things are right now, I think we have to ride the economy wave that we're going through. I think that when administration comes forth with project by project basis, we take a look at those projects, find out if they've got good taxable revenues that are coming to the city, along with jobs, because those are two things that we really need. I think the downtown area is becoming more popular with the citizens as far as going into the area of the parks and enjoyment. But we do have to consider the revenue and the economy.
15 seconds. Why should you be reelected?
Well, because I know I'll do a good job. I'm very dedicated to my job in this city. I love the citizens and I like my community.
Donna Kaiser Comartin, candidate for reelection to City Council. Thank you.
Thank
Good luck.
you.
Jackie Dabrowski is here, and she wants to be on council. Thank you, first of all, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your background and why you want to be on council.
Well, I've lived most of my 62 years in 9 Mile and Ryan area. I graduated Fitzgerald. I'm a Catholic girl. I'm Polish, and I love this city. I've got a daughter and 2 grandsons that live here, and I want to help make it a better place for them.
Great. Let's talk about some of the issues that you may have to face. What do you think the best way to combat blight would be in the city? Blight.
I think council's on the right track right now. They're getting more inspectors, which is a definite plus. I think the adjudication needs to go to the 37th District Court. They promised us to make it faster, more efficient, get it over with. But I think we need to educate the citizens as to what actually the rules are. What actually is blight? They'll see a abandoned home and consider it blight, but it's an entirely different department that handles that, even though abandoned buildings are the major source of blight in the north and the south, all over the city. So maybe if the service department could pick up their game a little bit, we could get a little bit handle better on blight.
All right. Another issue, what's your vision for the future of the downtown?
I really like a lot of the things that have turned out so far, but the economy scares me. I kind of think maybe they should slow it down a little bit. Let's finish this phase, then pay off some of the bonds. Maybe that would even improve the bond rating a little bit, even though we're, I almost said the wrong words, but excellent now. And then maybe address it at a different time when economic times are better for not just the city, but for all of us citizens.
All right, we've got about 30 seconds or so left. I'll give it to you. Tell the voters why you should be on council.
Well, I want to make a change. I like what's happened. Some things not. There's some issues I'd like to bring back up on council and maybe get some of them back. I won't get into the issues, there's not enough time, but I just want a better Warren.
All right, Jackie Dabrowski, candidate for City Council. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Good. Patrick Green is with us, and he wants to be on council. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Charlie.
Why do you want to be on council?
Well, I've been a resident of the city for 37 years. I have 3 children in Warren County schools, been married to my wife Kathy for 17 years. And you know, Warren was built on strong family values, making a great place to live, work, go to school, and for most people here, retire. And I've taken the time over the years to volunteer my time, talent, and treasure in various nonprofits and other organizations and commissions to make this a better community, both on the municipal level, county, and other parts of the state, to make people's lives better in ways of helping children and also helping economic development by developing jobs through one organization I'm with called Automation Alley. So we do get involved in various ways, and those skills that I've brought together through the years, I want to bring to City Council and make Warren a better place for everyone.
Let's talk about some of the issues.
Sure.
What's the best way to combat blight in the city?
Well, I think each and every resident of the city deserves to live in a community free of blight. Is it ever going to be completely without blight? No. But we have a set of ordinances, and I think they should be complied with, whether that's done through strong inspection or through a combination of inspection and education, like I've been doing research in other communities and how they handle it, and trying to take those tools and bring them back to Warren. We have some questions on it right now, and over probably the next year and a half, I think they'll be resolved.
What's your vision for the future of Warren's downtown? Well,
redevelopment of an already developed city demonstrates to me that Warren is serious about making an investment in its future. And when the city makes an investment, to me that's a way that we are helping to protect the homeowner's values. And for most people, their home is the largest single asset they're going to have. And I'm in support of anything that's going to help us protect the homeowner's assets.
All right, we've got about a minute or so left. Why don't you tell the voters why you're best qualified to be on council?
Well, as I said before, I've dedicated my life to trying to make our community better through the volunteering, through working with different organizations and trying to make this place a better, making Warren a better place to live. Those skills I want to bring to council. I've been on some city commissions and I can see what is needed, and I do have a plan to make this city better, and I want to bring that to the residents.
Patrick Green, candidate for council. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Good luck. Patty Hatfield is with us, and she wants to be on council. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Why do you want to be on council?
I think it's time to give the city back to the people. I've never been in politics. This will be my first run at it. I think that the current administration has done a great job. There's just been a lot of back and forth name calling, and I kind of want to put honesty and pride and integrity back into the city of Warren. So that's my goal if I make it on council.
All right. What do you think would be the best way to combat blight in the city?
Oh, that's a good question. I know currently we do have some inspectors, and blight, it didn't happen overnight. It's been in the city for a while, and so we need to have strict code enforcements, and that's what the inspectors should be out doing. The residents also need to take their part and to continue and to call in and let them know that there's blight in their area. But with the people moving out and the foreclosures in our area, I think that has created something new. I mean, I have 2 on my street. So we might want to consider hiring city workers to get the grass cut, not wait that 30 days, because I know that we do send a letter, but if they're gone, they're gone. I don't think they're going to come back and cut that grass. So have some city workers come, cut the grass, like the 2 on my street, they both have swimming pools. That's an issue right there. The rainwater is collecting in there. So that's where the city workers are going to have to come in, not the contractors, city workers. As soon as the calls come in, say the house is vacant, have them go out, cut the grass. Let's make that a priority. I've been going door to door, and that's what a lot of people are complaining about, is they're actually cutting the grass. And I know in my neighborhood, one of my neighbors cut the grass because it was very tall, but the backyard is still very long.
What's your vision for the future of the downtown?
Future. I believe that we need to continue what we have started. It's a beautiful city hall, that fountain is beautiful. But we need to get rid of the old city hall one way or the other, because we might have a blight issue going there if we don't watch what we're doing. But then I think we should stop for a little while. You know, the DDA, it is, I mean, back and forth on, you know, is it creating debt? And I believe it is. It's creating debt for my children who have moved out of my home and are now living in Warren. And that debt will continue to my grandchildren if we do not, if we're not careful about our spending. That's what, you know, and that's what we need to be, is careful.
About 20 seconds left. Quickly, tell the voters why you should be elected.
You know, I'm an honest person, I'm a hardworking person, and I will be for the citizens.
Patty Hatfield, candidate for council.
Thank you. Thank you,
Good
Charlie.
luck to you. Mary Camp is with us, and she wants to be re-elected to council. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Why do you want to be re-elected to council?
I would like to continue the job that I've been doing. I love the variety. I like researching the different issues and getting to know a lot of the residents and being a positive difference for the city. So I'm hoping that they'll re-elect me based on the job I've done so far.
All right, let's talk about a couple of the issues. What's the best way to combat blight in the city?
Obviously by making it the priority through enforcement. There's a lot of debate about this issue on how it should be handled, and I think that's more of an internal situation that should be handled. But by making it a priority, and I'd really like to see the city work proactively on providing a program, maybe low interest funding available to people, because I think a big issue in it is a lot of people don't have the funds to be able to do the kind of repairs they'd like to. And we need to work a little bit harder on maybe offering a senior assisted program. A lot of senior citizens, you know, in our city, they do the best they can. They need some help. They need some assistance. So I'd like to work on those programs in the future.
All right. What's your vision for the future of the downtown?
My vision for the downtown area, at this point where we're at, I certainly hope that we see the private investors come in and make the investment and kind of complete the phase that we're at. At that point, I'm really hoping to direct the attention to the south end so that we see the more development or redevelopment along the Van Dyke corridor. But it needs to be gauged at a moderate pace. I want to make sure that we're not costing city services citywide while this money is being funded into these projects.
All right, we've got about a minute or so left. Give it to you. Tell us why you should be continuing on the council.
Well, I've kind of earned the reputation of a member of council that does their homework. I think I'm fair. I think I've done a lot of research and brought some common sense interjection to the table. I stay away from the personal attacks and the individual items that go on. And I think I do a good job for the residents, so I hope that they're happy with what I've done and will re-elect me.
Mary Camp, candidate for Warren City Council.
Thank you. Thank you.
David Curry is with us. He wants to be on council. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Charlie. It's great to be here.
Why do you want to be on council?
Well, you know, I've always been interested in the decision-making process, even back to grade school, student council, student congress. It's not something you wake up one day and say, gee, I want to be on student council. It's just a passion that I have to be in the decision process, be it jury foreman, city council, zoning board of appeals. It's just a natural progression.
All right, let's talk about some of the issues. What is the best way to combat blight in the city?
Well, I think moving it back, the Administrative Hearings Bureau, getting rid of that and moving it back to 37th District Court is the proper way to go. In the past, it's been complaint-driven. Somebody would phone in, they have a problem in a neighborhood, inspectors would go out. I think we need to be proactive, like we've started to do. Hire more inspectors, bring some inspectors back, and be proactive in the inspections. I think people will comply once they're given notice.
All right. What is your vision for the future of the city's downtown?
You're referring to the City Hall area.
Sure.
We need to finish what we started. Regardless of how you think or what you think of the City Hall area, I think we need to finish it. If we don't finish it, it reflects badly upon the city. We started it, we need to complete it. We need to see it go through. We need to attract some businesses down there, some residents. I think we need to be proactive.
Got about a minute left. I'll give it to you. Why don't you tell the voters about you and why you want to be on council?
Okay. About myself. I'm the president of the 268 home North Rockwell Homeowners Association. I've been to nearly every planning commission meeting for the last 6 years. Back in 2001, I proposed and drafted the ordinance 4.26, which deals with the minimum size residential dwelling. And I did that to help secure residential property values so they wouldn't decrease. I'm the only non-incumbent candidate that attended all of the budget hearings. I attended most of the blight hearings. I attended most of the public hearings on the PUD ordinance. I think I know what's going on in the city. I'm very opinionated. My record on the Zoning Board of Appeals is exemplary. I try to be fair, honest, and reasonable while maintaining the zoning standards as well as giving rights to the property owner. I think I have a lot to offer the city.
David Curry, candidate for council.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mark Liss is here, and he wants to be on council. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Charlie, for having me here.
Good. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and why you want to be on council?
My background, I am a municipal attorney. I've been practicing law for 18 years now. I'm a municipal attorney for 10 years. Prosecutor for 8 years. I'm involved in my community. For instance, I'm on the Governor's Task Force for Children's Justice. That's a group that reviews how cases of child neglect and abuse are going in the system. And we prepare training and programs for professionals who deal with children who are abused and neglected.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the issues in Warren. One, what's the best way to combat blight in the city?
I'm a prosecutor, and I support the Blight Court. I have actually brought blight cases to the courts, and I think that the Blight Court is an extra tool that we can use to combat blight and make Warren safe, clean, and maintain property values. If I'm elected to the council, I'll immediately move to restore funding to the Blight Court.
All right. What is your vision for the future of the downtown?
I support the downtown revitalization. I think it needs to be cleaned up. I also think it's important that you not forget the neighborhoods. That's why I think it's important that we support the Blight Court also. But it's important to have private developers partner with the city to get a new downtown that the city can be proud of.
We've got a couple minutes left. I'll give it back to you if you want to talk about any issue or why you should be elected to council.
Well, I'd like to talk why I should be elected. I think it's a critical year for Warren. With this election, you're going to see at least five new council people. You're going to see a new mayor. You're also going to see a new treasurer and a new city clerk. So I think it's important that people vote for someone with experience, but also new ideas. And with my background as a prosecutor for 8 years, a municipal attorney for 10, and someone who's involved in the community, I'll be able to hit the ground running. I won't need any on-the-job training, and I think that's why people should vote for me, Mark Liss.
Mark Liss, candidate for City Council. Thank you, Mark. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Tony Mosseri is here, and she wants to be on council. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and why you want to be on council?
Well, I grew up in Warren. I graduated from Cousino High School. I went to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. I majored in anthropology and American culture, and I focused on urban studies within that. So I've worked in transportation. I've done some research in affordable housing, focusing on Detroit, and then I worked at the UAW for 2 years in the Social Security Department, focusing on healthcare and pensions. And then I also worked on Shrinking Cities, which was a project funded by the German Cultural Federation, and looking at the phenomenon of shrinking internationally. So.
All right. Let's talk about some issues, okay?
Okay.
What do you think the best way to combat blight would be in the city?
The best way to combat blight, I think that just calling it blight is actually missing the point. I think there's a few different trends going on, and I think that we're doing ourselves a disservice by just calling it blight. I think that there's economic disinvestment, there's population loss, and we need to focus more on the social fabric of the city at this time.
What's your vision for the future of the downtown?
The downtown, I think that big developments are important, like infrastructural, but I also think, going back to the social, I think that there needs to be more of a social aspect and more of an identity for the downtown, an identity for Warren. I think that in the past, Warren has had a negative image, and I think that a lot of people don't even know that it's the third largest city in Michigan. So we have a lot to work to do in changing the city around locally and also nationally. So
we have about 30 seconds left. I'll give it to you. Tell the voters why they should elect you to council.
Well, I did my master's thesis on Warren and the city seal. So I've been thinking a lot about the city. I have an urbanism background, and I think I can bring a lot to the table.
All right. Tony Mosseri, candidate for council. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Ron Robinson is here, and he wants to be on council. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Charlie.
Tell us a little bit about your background and why you want to be on council.
Well, I believe I'm uniquely qualified for this position. I've been a contract negotiator at the U.S. Army Tank Automotive Command for 26 years. I have been teaching political science at Schoolcraft College for 31 years, and I was a homeowners chairman of Hartsick Park Homeowners Association for 7 years. I believe I bring the qualifications, the experience, and new ideas to this position.
All right, let's talk about some of the issues. What's the best way to combat blight in the city?
Well, I think the key to combating blight is more inspectors to make sure that we have the people that's necessary to investigate and find the problem. Now, we've had a blight court, and there was promising signs with the blight court. The old way, when it went to the district court, wasn't working. Now, the majority of the council feel that the district court should have another chance. We have a few months to see if they're more effective. And then we have a chance, we'll probably be voting on whether we should have the blight court. I think we have to look at which is the most effective, but I think regardless of blight court or the 37th district court, we need more inspectors.
All right. What's your vision for the future of the downtown?
Well, I think the Downtown Development Authority is a great thing for Warren. Anything we can do to bring in jobs and businesses to the city. The economy in the state is in bad shape, and we need to do whatever we can here in Warren to attract businesses, to bring in new jobs, and I'm all in favor of it. I do want to make a couple of changes to it. I'd like to expand the number of members of the council on the DDA board from 1 to 3, and I also propose that some of the money could be shared with the general fund, and how they could do that is if the police and the fire department make an official run in the DDA area, they charge them. So that way the money will come back into the general fund, and the city won't have to ask for any tax increases or any layoffs.
All right, we've got about 30 seconds left. I'll give it to you. Why should you be on council?
Well, if 30 seconds is not a lot of time for this, but if you want someone that is concerned about helping the seniors with low-cost prescription drugs, if you want someone who will fight for a senior citizen center for the seniors, if you want someone who will fight for alternate activities for kids to get them out of the gangs, and if you want someone who will propose a council budget officer to effectively oversee the administration's budget, then I'm qualified, and I'd like your vote.
Ron Robinson, candidate for council. Thank you. Good luck
Thank
to you. Good. Keith Sadowski is with us, and he is a candidate for city council. Thank you for being on the program again.
Well, good to see you again. Thanks for having me. And I'm glad it's this show and not case closed.
There we go. Thanks, Keith. Tell the voters why you should be reelected to council.
Well, you know, I want to continue the success that we've had over the last 4 years. You know, you look at the state's economy and how it's gone into the tank, and Warren's actually been rather successful. We've been able to keep our manufacturing base. We've added about 2,000 jobs now to the city, or actually to the city of Warren in the private sector. You know, we've been very diligent as to how we've budgeted over the last couple of years, making sure that our bond rating has stayed where it's at, which is important because that keeps our interest rates low. You know, we've added a tremendous complex in Heritage Village. You look at the tank plant success and everything that we've been able to do in the state of this lousy economy.
Let's talk about some of the issues. What's the best way to combat blight in Warren?
Okay. Well, I've been real consistent on this issue. You know, I voted for the implementation of the blight court and have voted to continue the implementation of the blight court. I think that is the #1 way we can go ahead and combat it. It's a system that we have set up in order to answer citizens' complaints on a timely basis. You go in and boom, boom, boom. We issued warnings to the tune of about 4,000 over that 7-month period, and we had 3,000 compliances without ever issuing a ticket.
What's your vision for the future of the downtown?
Downtown, you know, we've laid a great foundation for it. You know, City Hall is up, the parking structure is there, the city park is established. What we need to do now is gather the developers now, whether we're going to do 1, 3, or however, and start the construction on that, getting the retail space up and running, getting the office space in there along with the restaurants and whatnot. That's really going to be the heartbeat, but that's only half of the story though, because what we're looking at now too is we've added the south end of Warren down the Van Dyke corridor, and that's huge because what that's going to do is that's going to revitalize that area, and that Van Dyke corridor is our major artery.
Got about 20 seconds left. I'll give it to you. Why should you be elected?
Well, you know, again, like I had stated before, to continue the success that we've had, it's important that we have some continuity between the old council and the new council to work with the new mayor and helping that person get their feet wet and trying to drive the city, again, in a very, very positive direction.
Keith Sadowski, candidate for city council. Good luck.
Thanks, Charlie.
Gloria St. Cyr is with us, and she wants to be on council. Why don't you tell the voters why you want to be on council?
Well, Charlie, I think there's some things that we need to fix in Warren. I think that we need to reclaim our city. There's some problems out there with blight, and I feel mismanagement. And blight, as you know, brings crime. It brings the property values down. We have to fix these things if Warren's going to have a good future. It's a beautiful place, but some places need fixing, and I do believe we can't wait much longer. It's got to be fixed now, and I want to be part of the solution to help fix Warren.
All right, let's talk about some of those issues. You just mentioned it. What's the best way to combat blight in the city?
The best way to combat blight is certainly the ordinances, and we have what they call a codification of ordinances. It's a book about that big, and inside it has a lot of ordinances referring to how you can combat blight. So we need to enforce, that's the operative word, we need to enforce the ordinances to combat blight. And we need to have those inspectors, the zoning inspectors, and we probably need to have more than what we have on hand right now. But we need a lot of inspectors. We need police officers out there maybe taking checks of where they see that blight is. And we need to have a good central place where we can call these things in so they can get some attention and get done.
All right. What is your vision for the future of Warren's downtown?
The future of Warren's downtown, you know, the original downtown was on 9 and Van Dyke. And the problem with that is that they left 9 and Van Dyke about 50 years ago and never looked back. And as a result, we have an awful lot of blight on that area, and it is starting to move up in the north area as well. So we need to put the north and the south together. We need to centralize our city and make it one. We need to have some festivals. We need to have some involvements where people will want to come together. Just like downtown, you know, they have the new waterfront now where a lot of people are there. There's a renaissance, a big change, and that can happen in Warren. But we need to put our minds together. We need to have a revitalization plan where we can become one Warren and serve the people.
We've got about 20 seconds left. I'll give it to you. Tell the voters why you should be on council.
Well, you know what? I don't like the fact that a lot of things have been taken away from us, especially our seniors. For the ambulance, the EMS, you know, it costs between $500 and $800 or $900 to get a ride to the local hospital. That's because if you need oxygen or some other things, it's quite costly. We need to have the police mini station that was down on 8 and Van Dyke, the helicopter. We need all these things that provide safety and goodness for our people. We paid for them, and we need to get them back.
Gloria St. Cyr, candidate for council. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
Scott Stevens is here, and he wants to be on council. First of all, thank you for being on the program today.
It's great to be here. Thank you, Charlie.
Talk a little bit about why you want to be on council.
Well, Charlie, it's real simple. It's something I think I have in my blood. I've been in public service, one form or another, all my adult life, and I think I have some excellent things that I bring to the table, and I think that the taxpayers of Warren will benefit from that.
All right, let's talk about some issues. What do you think the best way it would be to combat blight in the city?
Blight is a growing issue, and it's something that concerns me, and it concerns a number of people that I've spoken to as I go door to door. I would have to say that, you know, council and the administration and the directors, we need to sit down, we need to look at the problems that are facing us as far as blight's concerned, and we need to look at what other cities are doing to combat blight, because it's not, you know, exclusive to Warren. But I would say that the number one thing that we need to do, we need to have a code enforcement division within the city. Those public employees would also need to be sworn constables. That way it speeds up the process, it allows them to issue tickets, it gives them credence if it has to go to court. And I think that's a good thing for the city.
What is your vision for the future of the downtown?
the downtown, I assume you're talking to like the City Hall area or something like that. Well, I know that there was a plan for it, and it entailed shops and other things. And I personally believe that the area is not big enough. The land mass that's left there is not big enough for it. I would like to see the former City Hall torn down, a green space there where people could come to watch fireworks, art fairs, dog shows, what have you, someplace where we come together as a community.
We've got about 20 seconds left. I'll give it to you. Why should you be on council?
I should be on council because I would be a trustworthy steward of the taxpayers' money. And they'd be able to come to me with their problems, and I would help them find resolution to them.
Scott Stevens, candidate for council. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Kathy Vogt is with us, and she wants to be reelected to council. Thank you for being here as well.
Thank you, Charlie. It's a pleasure.
Why don't you tell the voters about your candidacy and why you should be reelected?
I have already served the better part of one term, and I think those who watch council know that I brought a professionalism to council. As secretary, I have gained administrative as well as legislative experience, and with a new mayor, new treasurer, new clerk, and 5 new members of council, we're going to need someone with that experience and the stability that comes along with it, and I think that I can bring that to the city. I promised professionalism before. I think I've delivered that, and I'm looking forward to the challenge of this next administration.
Let's talk about some of the issues. What's the best way to combat blight in the city?
The best way to combat blight is through our property maintenance division. We have 3 inspectors now out there, and in our upcoming budget, we're proposing additional funds for inspectors. We are nearly doubling the funding for the grass cutting program, and I think that's the best way, is getting people out there. We found last year with the inspectors, we had 80% compliance just with warnings. And with having judges, the 37th district judges, hearing the cases, people are going to show up when it's a judge, come to court as opposed to come to an administrative hearing. I think we'll have much better enforcement, and of course the court has the ability for that enforcement.
What's your vision for the future of the Warrens downtown?
Well, we're kind of at a standstill with our downtown, and a lot of that will depend on the new administration as to how we proceed. We have expanded the downtown area to include the South Van Dyke 8 Mile, 9 Mile, and so I'm looking to see some more development in that area and see what kind of bids come in for developing around our new City Hall.
We've got about 30 seconds left. I'll give it to you. Why should you be reelected?
Well, again, I have the experience. I think the voters know what I have brought to council in the past. They know I'm an independent voice, independent thinker, and I'll do what's right for the city as opposed to what's right for any one individual.
Kathy Vogt, candidate for council. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Very good.
Thanks.
Stephen Warner is with us, and he is a candidate for council. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you, Charlie. It's good to see you.
Why do you want to be on council?
My main reason is I'd like to be an independent voice for the people and the taxpayers of the city of Warren. I've been following all the elections over the last years. I was born and raised in Warren. I went through the school systems here at Warren. I followed the elections closely. I've helped out with a few candidates in the past. And some things I've agreed with, some things I've disagreed with. Rather than sit back and complain about it or want to do something from the sidelines, with the urging of my family, I decided that now's the time to do something about it.
Great. Let's talk about some of the issues. What's the best way to combat blight in the city?
Blight, in my mind, is you need total cooperation from the city and from its citizens. If the citizens see that they're getting cooperation from the city, they'll in turn help out to do their part. as it stands right now, I'm in full support of the Property Maintenance Division. I'd like to see a few more inspectors added, but I'm in full support of using our own judicial system with our judges to handle the Administrative Hearings Bureau.
All right. What is your vision for the future of the downtown?
The future of the downtown, Warren is a ever-changing climate with social and economic changes that have been brewing for the last 10, 15 years. We have to adapt with progressiveness as well as other cities that have been. We did need something centrally located, but as the way it goes, I would like to see more input from the local businesses as well as from the city. The DDA is something that was a good idea, but we need more input in all different areas, and we need more structure in the planning of it.
We've got about 20 seconds left. I'll give it to you. Why don't you tell the voters why you should be elected to council?
I would like to be an independent voice for the city and an independent voice for the taxpayers. We need some type of equilibrium on the council, one that's willing to work with the administration as well as the citizens, so we can have an equal balance for the future and the progressiveness of our city.
Stephen Warner, candidate for council.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And that concludes Meet the Candidates 2007. I'd like to thank all candidates for participating. And remember, vote in the general election Tuesday, November 6th. From all of us here at TV Warren, thank you for watching. I'm Charlie Langton.